Good morning, Cubs Nation, and we are back with another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. The Cubs drop the opener 8-2. We'll break down the game right here. I got another name trade target that we can take a look at, break down some numbers and see if he's a good fit for this Cubs team. And then some big news was being reported earlier this week from a Chicago reporter about the Cubs maybe making a trade for an arm here soon. And we are going to preview Game 2 here tonight for the Cardinals. It's going to be a big one. This is a big series. First time we're seeing the Cards all year, so we got to get back on the winning track. But before we get into all that, I just want to give a big shout out to every single one of you who has watched the videos, taken the time to watch, you liked them, you subscribed to the channel, and of course you commented and let me hear your thoughts. I love responding to you guys. I love good baseball chatter. It's absolutely amazing. So let's keep that train rolling. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on what the Cubs need to do here, because I'm going to give you guys a name. I'm not too thrilled with the name because it kind of just seems like a Band-Aid on a bigger issue. But let's talk about the Cubs opener last night. They did lose it 8-2, and like I said, they looked lackluster. They did not look strong. They did not bring their best stuff. Again, this is the ebbs and flows of a season, right? I don't want to just blame it on that. You want to nitpick. You want to find problems. The offense just isn't cooking right now, and that's okay. I trust this offense to get it figured out here really soon. It's the pitching for me, okay? Ben Brown had some good glimpses last night. There's no doubt about it. I think he can be a major league starter, a 4 or 5 at best, but right now, he's very, very hit or miss. Those first 3 innings, he looked incredible, right? He looked very, very solid. Maybe he's more of a bullpen arm. I'm not sure with Ben Brown. But he got good swing and miss stuff, a good fastball, sharp break on that breaking ball. And then, unfortunately, the Cardinals figured it out relatively quickly, and they started making contact. And they took care of business on that front. 4 2-run homers to take care of business yesterday against the Cubs. The Cubs didn't really have a chance after the 5th inning. It was 6-1. And, I mean, PCA did his job. He went 2 for 3 and had an amazing catch. He scored both runs. But, again, the Cubs just didn't have it offensively last night, and they lost 8-2. Eventually, the pitching will be getting figured out, and that's why I'm going to discuss this name right here, Tyler Anderson of the Angels. The Angels are out of the playoff picture in the AL West. They're not a very good, solid ball club, and Tyler Anderson, let's take a look at some of his numbers here. They're not the prettiest, but we have to remember who he is a part of. He's on the Angels squad, who they're not that strong of a team. So I would imagine if he comes over to the Cubs, the ERA and the batting average against would dip a little bit lower. Again, I think he's a very cheap return option, right? I don't think the Cubs would have to give up a top 15 or a top 20 prospect for a 35-year-old starter. Yes, he's a 2-time All-Star, very solid baseball player. But again, I think this just doesn't do it for me, unfortunately. Not everything needs to be the big move, right? Sometimes it's the small, subtle things you change that lead to big results. Not in this particular instance, though, okay? Again, I have been yearning, and I mean yearning, for a lockdown, shutdown ace. A guy who throws 99 with wicked off-speed stuff, who's going to be our number 1 starter, and who's going to be taking the hill 3 times in a 7-game series to go to the World Series and or win the World Series. We need a front-line ace, and unfortunately, we do not have that. I think Shota's an excellent pitcher, okay? His return this week is humongous for this Cubs team. No doubt about it. Justin Steele, he's been very sturdy. Obviously, he's out for the year, but long-term, he's obviously a part of the Cubs' plans. Tyone has had a lot of great quality starts here. Last start, he got roughed up a little bit, but, he just doesn't move the needle for me. Matt Boyd has been absolutely sensational all year. Colin Ray's starting to get figured out, and Ben Brown is obviously been figured out. And this is just the problem, right? Ben Brown either needs to be optioned to AAA to go work on his stuff, or he needs to go to a more bullpen role. So I'm curious to see what the Cubs do with Shota Imanaga later on this week. How do they fluctuate the roster to fit him back on it? And this is just part of the pressing issue, right? Don't trade your 25th best prospect for some rando left-hander. Trade some guys. We have the system in place. There's a lot of outfield depth. There's infield depth. We have pitching depth. Move them. There's a lot of guys that are ready to come up to the big leagues, and those guys can go to these lesser teams and contribute to their future success, maybe. But we need a frontline ace, and I think that's where this news right here that's really exciting. Could the Cubs be trading for a starter this week? It was reported earlier there was big news that the Cubs would be making a move here within the next 7 to 10 days before the All-Star break. In early July, the Cubs want to add a starter sooner rather than later. Again, we've gone over a lot of different options. There's a very new curious option that I will probably break down in the video tomorrow a little bit more. And it's Eugenio Suarez of the Diamondbacks and Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks, or Merrill Kelly. Maybe a package of those two, right? Suarez, one being specific, and either Gallen or Merrill Kelly. That is a very intriguing proposition to me because that definitely solidifies, some bench depth for the Cubs, or, obviously Eugenio could start at third, and we know he's going to bring the power. Yes, he's a Cub killer, but maybe he kills it at Wrigley, and it just helps us go to the World Series. And a very solid frontline pitcher in Merrill Kelly or Zach Gallen. I don't know. I want to hear your guys and gals' thoughts in the comments below. But I'm not sure what the Cubs are due, but they need to make a splash. Not kick the feet in the water, get the puddles going. We need to cannonball into this trade season and get someone big that's going to change the trajectory of the team from just kind of being, oh yeah, they're good, they're solid, but to be like, okay, we can mess with the Dodgers, we can mess with the Phillies, etc., etc. Because as it sits right now, the Cubs are 26-6 against non-500 teams lower than 500, and they're like 20-21 against teams that are above 500. So obviously, the teams above 500 is more of a struggle for the team. Usually, that's just generally the case, but we'd like to see a little bit better success against those teams that are well above 500. So I'm curious to see what the Cubs do this week. Let me know in the comments what you think their move is going to be. Who is your ideal trade target? Because I've gone over a list of names here on Cubs Daily. Honestly, I bet you it's not even one of those guys that the Cubs trade for. It's always someone you don't expect. That's how this Cubs team has always operated, and that is exactly what I'm expecting here in the future. So, Game 2 tonight at 6:45, same time as yesterday. Jameson Taillon going on the bump. Hopefully he can get the win. We need to stop the bleeding. The Cardinals are approaching us here in the Central. They sit third currently, but their record, they're 43-36. They're getting closer and closer to us. Again, this is going to be a tight race here in the Central. But again, the more the Cubs can gain advantage, the better off we will be in September. No doubt about it. And the Cardinals are throwing their young pitcher, McGreevy. He's their first-round pick in 2021. He's 1-1 with a 2.70 ERA. So he doesn't have a lot of career experience. A lot of the Cubs have not seen this guy pitch, but a lot of the Cardinals have seen Jameson Taillon pitch. So I'm curious to see how it goes. Taillon has let up a lot of home runs this year, so hopefully he can keep the ball down and in the ballpark and give the Cubs a chance to win. It's a struggle bus right now. The Cubs are absolutely struggling offensively, but we got to get through this schneid, and then I know the offense will bounce back. I'm not too concerned about the offense. It's the pitching. We need to go out and solidify the staff pronto, immediately. So, let me know you guys and gals' thoughts in the comments, and I will be back tomorrow with another video right here on Cubs Daily. I appreciate everyone. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.